Okay, so we've got the FDA approval drugs that we know don't work, right? So then we have to really think, okay, what can we be doing every day? And we now have substantial evidence to show that resistance training, building strength and muscle is going to serve you. It is going to save your life. It is a longevity organ, and it is a brain health organ as well, in my opinion. And that is truly because of the myokines. But what I want people to know is that you should go to the gym for your brain. It's the journey. It's not the end product of actually building muscle or the end product of getting fitter. It is the journey of what takes place during that time of you contracting your muscles over time under tension. It's because of the fact that you're getting more blood flow to the brain, which is what we need. You're strengthening the arteries. We know that the carotid arteries that comes off the aorta goes into the brain needs to be really strong and durable and flexible. And the third thing is because of the myokines, which are, in my opinion, they are like the ultimate free natural pharmaceuticals that your brain needs to thrive.
Is BDNF one of those?
Brain-derived neurotrophic factor, yeah. That's the most abundant and well-known one, and we can get into that when we talk about aerobic exercise. But I'm talking about cathepsin B, I'm talking about irisin, I'm talking about IL-6, which we thought was a pro-inflammatory cytokine, but we know that when it's released from the cells of the muscle, it's anti-inflammatory.
Whoa.
Yeah, which is like monumental, right? So it goes into the brain and becomes anti-inflammatory, so it can calm you down. Because neural inflammation is a huge factor in these diseases. But these myokines is a double-edged sword, right? Because we're now seeing all of the research on myokines and cancer. So one of the best studies was printed in Nature, where they showed that these myokines, when released from the cells of the muscle during resistance training, can mitigate prostate tumors.
Whoa.
Yeah. So you've got receptors all over your body and organs for these myokines.
So would you say, is it fair to say that exercise is a form of medicine?
It's exactly what I say. That's my motto. Exercise is medicine.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love it. So the myokines that you've named, irisin, IL-6, I forget the others.
Cathepsin B.
Yeah. Those are stimulated primarily from resistance training?
Yes, because when they're in the cells of the muscle, right, myokine, you have to contract your muscle, but you can't do it. You have to do it under force. So then we think about, okay, how much force do we need? This is why lifting heavy is more beneficial for you, not just because we are growing and outgrowing our muscles, but because to release these myokines, you need to place your muscles under tension. So I'm generally trying to push people to lift at around 75 to 80% of their one repetition max.
That's pretty heavy, yeah.
It's pretty heavy, but if you stick to doing 5 reps or 6 reps, you'll get there. And pretty much you want to, at that 6th rep, you want to have around 2 reps in reserve.
Reps in reserve, yeah.
Reps in reserve, yes.
Man, so if there are people listening to this that are like, what, so now I've got to start to train like a bodybuilder to protect my brain? Like, yeah. I'm sure people are probably, some yes. are probably, maybe the people of an older generation are probably, possibly listening to this cynically and thinking, well, look at these are 2 young people. They probably enjoy working out, lifting weights. But how would you address those concerns that that resistance training is maybe weightlifting like a bodybuilder? It's just a fad because of the rise of the wellness industry and fitness memes and things like that.
I mean, there's a reason why the fittest people live the longest, right? Those with the higher recording of VO2 max end up living longer. So we have to think, okay, there's something to this, right? And then resistance training, that's another thing. We're scaring people away from it by saying you have to lift heavy, you have to lift every day. In fact, when you actually look at the studies, it shows that at minimum, it's just 2 days a week. That's not a lot of time. And I'm not saying to go in there and pound yourself in the gym for hours. You can do everything in 45 minutes at the gym. That is necessary for a healthy functioning brain. And the best way to describe this is go in and learn how to do compound lifts. Stop thinking about bodybuilders are doing these accessory muscles, right? You see them there. And when I see a woman at the gym doing this, working on her wrist strength because she's seen it on some reel, I'm like, oh, hell no, right? lift, like if you can learn to squat, learn to deadlift, learn to bench press, those 3 are the most important exercises for women, learning how to do them properly. Because when you learn how to do them properly, then you can just keep stacking the weights on. So they're compound movements that you want to be doing at the gym.
Compound movement, basically a movement that works multiple muscle groups at once.
Yeah, like the squat.
Yeah.
Right, barbell squat.
And I love the emphasis on the word learn to do them properly, because, I mean, there are plenty of people. I mean, you can toss a stone on social media and hear stories of people injuring themselves with these moves as well.
Yeah, but you're getting, and another effect that females are getting as well is we have estrogen receptors on our bones, right? So this is why women experience osteopenia and osteoporosis as they go through the menopause transition, right? So they're getting their bone mineral density is getting low and low because of the loss of estrogen, regardless of them taking HRT or not. So being able to stimulate bone through resistance training is also going to help them. Fun fact, there is a group of researchers in New Zealand working with menopausal women and bone density. And this one researcher actually put a program forward for females postmenopausal over a 10-week period. She got them jumping for 10 minutes, 3 times a week, just jumping on the spot, nothing crazy, not with weights or anything. And she took women who were osteopenic to normal bone density in 10 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
From jumping, just the impact.
Because, you're stimulating the bone to recreate itself every time you jump. So women should now also include some form of plyometrics, right? Because that's what it really is. But it doesn't have to be crazy. It just has to be jumping up and down on the spot. Back to my mother, we did a bone density scan on her, and she has a T-score of minus 2.5, meaning that she's minus 2.5 below the average of her age group. So I've got her jumping for 10 minutes a day. If you want to be really coordinated, use a skipping rope.
I learned how to jump rope in 2020.
It's not easy.
It was not easy, no. I mean, it's like one of these coordinated things. It's like it works your brain, works myriad muscles.
Yeah.
Not easy.
No, not easy. But then we've also got another thing, which let's clear up now. I think there's also something else happening with women where they're spending so much time doing HIIT training. Okay, so we've got certain zones when you look at exercise physiology just to determine heart rate metrics, right? So zone 1 is what you and I are in now, which is sitting. If you go all the way up to zone 5, that's that. I call it the spew stage. Like if you get up there, that's your maximum heart rate. You kind of want to throw up, right? And in between that, you've got zone 2, 3, and 4. So many women are spending their time in zone 3 and 4. And for the life of me, they're wasting their time.
What does that look like a jog?
That looks like HIIT training at Orange Theory.
Got it, Orange Theory, okay.
Right? So over a 45-minute to an hour period of time, they're not in zone 2, which is that steady state. They're over here in zone 3 and 4, but they're not in zone 5. And what they're doing is they're just producing more cortisol. Right, so women in the postmenopausal stage or even in the perimenopausal stage already have higher inflammatory markers, right, due to lowering of estrogen, right? So then they're going to go and put themselves under even more stress due to all of that cortisol fluctuating. It's actually not doing anything for them in the long term in terms of making them fitter, making them more cardiometabolically fit. I don't agree with it.
So is it because they're doing too much of that intensity?
Yeah. So what we know that actually really enhances your fitness and what women need is to be getting in that zone 5. Okay, that one that is actually hard out efforts, which is going to increase your VO2 max. Postmenopausal women have a triple risk. Their risk triples their risk triples of getting a heart attack during that and getting cardiovascular disease during the menopausal period. So being able to have an effect on your heart and being able to protect it in this zone is much more beneficial than wasting your time in the zone 3 and zone 4.
And the good news about, I mean, people might say, oh, well, zone 5, I mean, that sounds even more difficult than an Orange Theory class. But the whole thing is like you're only in that at that level of intensity. You're only doing work at that level of intensity for like brief bursts, right?
Yeah, like 4 minutes on, 3 minutes off, complete rest. You repeat that 4 times and you're done.
What about like when I'm doing battle ropes? I love doing battle ropes, but I can only sustain my highest level of intensity when doing battle ropes for like 45 seconds.
Exactly. But is that your heart rate or is that just your muscles fatiguing?
All of the above.
Yeah, exactly. But if you're to do your maximum heart rate on this step machine, which is where I do my VO2 max efforts, you probably could sustain that for a longer period of time. And by the way, when we're talking about the 4 minutes on, that's really, it's taking you about a minute to get your heart rate to that level. So you're probably really getting your heart rate to that maximum for around a minute and a half.
Got it.
Yeah.
So like what would that look like with like battle ropes or like an assault bike? Could it be in total 4 minutes on the machine, but like in terms of the work that you're doing, like hard cycling or hard swinging of the ropes for like a couple seconds with a rest period in between and then doing that a couple of times?
Correct. Yeah. And with the rest period, it has to be a complete like cessation. You have to like completely stop and get to a rest period of around 3 to 4 minutes as well. Yeah.
And so that seems to be really effective for boosting VO2 max?
Yeah. The Norwegian 4x4 is the gold standard in improving VO2 max. There's, well, you know, in those studies of improving VO2 max, you can still improve it with a minute on, a minute off, right? It's just not as large of an improvement. So if you're looking for your biggest bang for your buck, it's doing the Norwegian 4x4.
That's really great news because I think a lot of people might wrongly take away from conversations like this that you've got to make fitness your full-time job.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's certainly not my full-time job, but I do dedicate a lot of time to it. But even with the amount of time that I dedicate to it, there are definitely like zones of cardio exercise that I neglect. Like I do a lot of zone 2 and I resistance train, but I do not do enough zone 5. Yeah, I don't.
And there's also a lot of women spending their time in zone 2 as well. And that's because we've seen this rise of zone 2. Okay, I interviewed Inigo San Milan as well. And he's a cancer metabolism expert. And, you know, he even says that we've seen this huge rise in zone 2. And we have. But again, it's geared towards men. Women don't really need to be spending their time in zone 2. They need to be spending their time resistance training, jumping, and doing zone 5. Zone 2 should be the supplement to a female's exercise regime, meaning if you have done all of the work throughout the week and on Sunday you've got spare time, go and take a ride with your kids on the bike, do your zone 2, go for a long walk. That shouldn't be the dedicated Tuesday morning exercise time spent in zone 2.
So do you have like what are your thoughts then on like the daily step goal?
I do believe that. We know that step count is strongly related to both longevity and Alzheimer's disease. So if you can be meeting 8,500 steps, I believe it is at minimum per day, then yeah.
That's pretty good.
But you're doubling up. If you get outside, you're getting the sunlight as well, right? So we've spoken about exercise, aerobic exercise as well. Can definitely yield massive amounts of benefits. The one thing I'll tell you again with the zone 5, what you're doing as well, you're having a huge impact on cancer and cancer metastases. You're also, for anybody who is actually going through chemotherapy, the chemotherapy is actually going to work better and you getting out of the hospital faster if you also incorporate exercise into your regime as an adjunct.
Yeah, our mutual friend Joe Zundel, cancer biologist, he's like a big exercise advocate. All roads seem to lead back to the many benefits, the multifaceted benefits of adopting and sustaining an exercise routine.
Yeah, and when you're working out at that high rate, many of us, actually almost everybody's walking around unknowingly. Okay, we don't know if we've got a tumor present somewhere, right? Because you can't pick up on stage 1 cancer or these tiny tumors, at least to my knowledge, through an MRI scan, right? Because then we'd all be diagnosing, right, and getting there faster. So what happens in stage 1 is you've got one tumor there, and these circulating tumor cells circulate through your body because the tumor breaks off and it tries to go and find another way to lodge itself, and that's called metastases. And during that process, you've got pieces of this tumor circulating through your blood. These circulated tumor cells can actually be obliterated through high intensity anaerobic work, because the shunting and the sheer force of the blood that goes through your body when you're exerting yourself at that level has the potential to clear out those circulating tumor cells. And we've seen this in trials. This is not my opinion, obviously, but I think that that's really powerful too.
Super. Yeah. I mean, cancer is terrifying. I heard it once said that you basically want to train all of your different, I mean, everybody kind of has a sense of what the various intensity levels of exercise look like or feel like. And it's, totally subjective, but like I know when I'm giving my 100%. So I heard it said recently that you want to basically train all of the different intensities. Like it's not enough to just do zone 2 and to focus on walking, being quote unquote active. Like if you're not challenging your cardiovascular system with some of that higher intensity stuff, then you're leaving a lot on the table, I guess. And it's probably going to impact your longevity.
Yeah, you want to try and get into every system, of course, because just like your brain, your heart loves variety. I mean, your brain loves variety. This is why it loves to be in different areas, having different challenging conversations and staring at different things. It loves variety, and that's how it grows, that's how it thrives, and that's how it maintains its structure. So that's the same for your heart and cardiovascular system.
Hey, if you liked that video, you need to check out this one here, and I'll see you there.